Trying makes us feel messy, unpolished, and imperfect. But quitting and not even starting because we want to feel perfect sounds worse, right? The trap of perfectionism leads to an abysmal void and prevents us from reaching the best version of ourselves. Today, we are going to talk about perfectionism, the fear of failure, and how to get rid of it. And also, why is it important to understand the impact of it on our lives and how trying, however small or bad it be, is not a vice, rather a virtue. Hi everyone, I'm Miss Khan and welcome back to the Strawberry Moon. Before we begin with today's episode, I want to talk about something very clearly. I am an imperfect human being and I've been trying my ways to fight with perfectionism and not letting it into the way of what I want. And in no means I am capable of preaching about it. But today, I want to share my experience and understanding as a friend and also share a few things which have genuinely helped me to think about perfectionism differently. So, let's begin. I'm going to show some pictures on the screen, and if you relate to any of those, my friend, you have been a victim of perfectionism. Let's begin. Still fixing the font. New project. Yeah, this one hurts even more because the new project looks fancy to you because the research has not been done, but for the older ones, you have completed the research and never had the courage to begin it at all because you didn't want it to be imperfect. And now you want to chase a new thing until you are done with researching about it. If I never start, I never make any mistakes. Ergo, I never fail. You understand what I mean here, right? If you never make any mistakes, you are never going to do anything as well. I think these are funny because these are very, very relatable. Now, let's talk about what is perfectionism actually. I will begin with the Oxford definition of perfectionism. So it says the strong desire to do things perfectly, leading to dissatisfaction with anything less, often seen as a refusal to accept standards short of flawlessness, and can manifest as extremely high, sometimes unattainable personal or professional standards. If you see, perfectionism should be the driving force for excellence, but in most of the cases, unfortunately, it is not. It rather creates this claustrophobic space around the ideas wherein they can neither breathe nor grow. This is really harmful as we can never be prepared. The research is endless. There's a difference between perfectionism and laziness, by the way, and it is worth pausing upon. So, laziness is not caring about something enough to start it or work on it, but perfectionism is rather the opposite. You care about something so much that you are afraid to begin it and ruin it. Al Limit, one of my favorite writers about creativity and writing, talks about perfectionism in her book called Word by Word. And I'm going to quote a paragraph from that. I think I quoted one line from this in the first episode as well, but it is worth repeating. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life. And it is the main obstacle between you and a shitty first draft. I think perfectionism is based on the obsessive belief that if you run carefully enough, hitting each stepping stone just right, you won't have to die. The truth is that you will die anyway, and that a lot of people who aren't even looking at their feet are going to do a whole lot better than you and have a lot more fun while they're doing it. The voice of the oppressor, right? Not the voice of quality, because that's what perfectionism is. nothing but stagnation. It creates nothing but leaves you in abysmal space of stagnation. There's a way of thinking about this that I love. Imagine two people walking in a landscape, blue, beautiful sky, clouds around them, but there are some hurdles in the path, like stones. There could be more or even less number of stones. Person 1, they keep their eyes on the sky and the clouds and they enjoy the journey. They take care of the stones as well and not let them fall, but that is not what they focus upon. So they enjoy the journey. But person 2, they focus on the stones too much. They're afraid of tripping that much that they forget about the beautiful sky and the clouds. This person B, they might also be able to complete their work and reach the destination. But you see, they are not going to have as much fun as person A in any case, because they thought about the hurdles too much and ruined their whole journey looking at the negative aspects of it. Both people have the same path, the same hurdles, the same landscape, but due to their different mindset, the journeys are totally different. Now that we know that we need to do messy things in order to achieve something, we can talk about how it is okay to do things imperfectly, and rather how it is very important to do those imperfect things when you are not fully prepared. I'm very excited about this part of the episode. So I've found about this concept called the taste gap by Ira Glass. He's an American radio personality. And I think this idea is gonna be the core of this episode. I am going to quote the exact words said by Ira about taste and the gap. Nobody tells people who are beginners, and I really wish somebody had told this to me, is that all of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there is a gap that for the first couple of years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good. Okay, it's not that great. It's not that great really. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into this game, your taste is still killer. And your taste is good enough that you can tell what you are making is kind of a disappointment to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point quit. And the most important and possible thing you can do is to do a lot of work. Do a huge volume of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week or every month you know you're going to finish one story. Because it's only by actually going through a volume of work that you're actually going to catch up and close that gap. And the work you're making as your ambitions, it takes a while. It's gonna take you a while. It's normal to take a while. And you just have to fight your way through that. Okay, let's breathe for for a couple of seconds. I know he refers to creative work here, but I think it can apply to all phases of life. Could be as simple as cooking a dish you want, but you're not at that level to make it excellently the first time. But in a few times when you practice, you can be as good as you want, right? I've written a paragraph to summarize the taste gap in my own words. I'll read it out. We all have been in a situation where outcome of a certain task or a project is not up to the standards we want to achieve. And as per Ira Glass, you can find your work imperfect and even not good at times because you have the taste, and it is a good news that you have the taste. What you need is the hard work and resilience to work on those days when the output is messy. Let the gap not define your current actions. And that is the only way to bridge the gap. Also, practically, it is usually impossible to bridge that gap because as you improve and work, your taste also levels up. And it is a great side effect of all the hard work. Till now, we talked about perfectionism, what is it, and how we need to train our brains to work through those initial messy stages, and how those initial stages are not as bad as we think. So, as long as we have the taste and the willingness to achieve excellence, it becomes rather easy to break out of the perfectionist mode. And now we'll talk about some philosophies and techniques which I have personally used and have believed in. We're going to talk about Parkinson law. It sounds like a profound idea, but at its core, it's really obvious and simple. And actually, maybe that is what makes it so profound. It says work expands to fill the time available, which means if you give yourself an hour to write an email, it is going to take an hour. You're going to think about every comma obsessively and rewriting every sentence multiple times, agonizing over the subject line is going to make you like pathetic if you give uncomfortably long timelines to the task which could have been done in a shorter time. The fix is called time boxing. You set a timer, a relatively uncomfortable one. You start the task, and once the time runs out, you stop and release it. Here's how we can actually practice this. First, break the task down into the smallest pieces. For example, write the script. No, write the first paragraph. Step 2, set a timer. Step 3, start. Start immediately before your brain tricks you out of it. 4, when the timer ends, release it, even if it's not good. Rather, especially if it's not good. The constraint is the whole point. You're telling your perfectionist brain that you don't get forever to complete it. Rather, you do it in this time. You do it in 40 minutes and get it done. You don't get forever. Now, the philosophical angle from Bhagavad Gita. We have our structural angle and it makes sense, but to truly understand this, we need this philosophical angle as well. Let's just slow things down for a minute. I have this book, Bhagavad Gita 365 Reflections for Daily Mindfulness. I don't read it every day, but quite a few times when I have something to look into or want some inspiration. And there is a passage I came back to recently. When work doesn't work, detachment works. I'm going to read out a couple of paragraphs from this, which quite relate to the topic today. Sometimes we work at something, yet nothing seems to work. We struggle to improve a relationship, but things keep going south. What can we do when work doesn't work? We can seek detachment. To see how detachment works, we need to understand that all work has two results, inner and outer. When we work on a relationship, the outer result is that the relationship improves, and the inner result is that we become more mature and empathetic. The outer result is determined not just by our endeavor, but also by destiny. If destiny is unfavorable, then the result doesn't come despite our best efforts. Does that mean we passively resign ourselves to fate? No, not at all. It just means that we don't work solely for the outer results. Attachment fixates our vision on those outer results, making us believe that without such results, the work is useless. Detachment frees our vision to look at the inner results too. Even if we don't improve at a particular relationship, becoming more mature and empathetic makes us a better person and improves our overall prospects in other relationships. Pertinently, the Bhagavad Gita recommends that we work with detachment. There are essentially two results of every work we do. One is the outer result, which is quite frankly out of our control, but attachment to outer result is really the fuel for perfectionism, as we are terrified of the work being flawless. Then there are inner results as well, which are empathy or emotional intelligence and the skills which we develop as part of working. Detachment means you remove your vision from the outer results only and understand there's value in doing the work itself. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about the work. Of course, you want the video to be good, the essay to land, but it only means you don't put the whole value of your work on the outer result, but care about the inner result as well. Be happy about the person you are becoming because of the actions you are taking. I know this can feel a little abstract. I also had the hardest time to understand this concept of karma, and despite if the results are not in our favor, how the actions are important. But yeah, the inner results, fixating our mind on the inner results is the way to go. And I think still you could say, Muskan, in the real world, when we are rushing to get a job and we need to pay our bills, it could still feel a little abstract. Like you are going for an interview, you really want the job. But this concept can really apply to this as well. If you only focus on wanting the job and clearing the interview, you could get anxious because of thinking about the outer results, and this could impact your performance in the interview. But if you're calm minded about this thing, even if the answer is no, you'll certainly gain some more confidence and skills which can help you the next time when you appear for a different interview. That is how you keep your eyes on the sky even while navigating through the stones. And this is where the things we talked about converge. One is an essay from a British economist from 1955, and one is a thousands of year old Sanskrit text. But both are saying the same thing: do the work in the constraint and then release the outcome. So, centuries apart, the ideas are related to the same thing. That is not a coincidence, right? It means something. It's kind of a pattern. So, if the outcome isn't the metric, what it is? So, last year I was reading through the New Year resolutions of different authors in December to plan my year, and then I came across this line from Neil Gaiman, and he said, make new mistakes, make glorious, amazing mistakes. And that's where I found my New Year goal, truly. And the metric which we can track is definitely the mistakes we make and the attempts we do. Started this list in my notes app in January, where I track my attempts and mistakes, which really shows me my progress rather than just fixating on the final outcome. And yeah, the number of attempts is your new metric of success. I really suggest you try this because it makes you feel really better about this whole concept of trying, and it also trains your brain to keep working hard despite of the outcome. And truly, if we continue to work in a particular direction, outcome has no other option than to come to us. And I want to be really clear about something. All of these concepts of making mistakes, of trying when you are not prepared, is not at all about lowering the bar. It is not an excuse for sloppy work. It is rather to train your mind for excellence than perfection. Excellence and perfectionism sound a little similar, but they are different to the core. Excellence is about the effort being full, the efforts being the best of what you can. But perfectionism, it keeps you frozen. Excellence is the fuel which keeps you moving. I'm sharing all of this today because I am speaking from right inside the struggle and not at all anywhere near the finish line. This channel, the process of creating videos, is my attempt to close the gap between what I feel is the quality I want to achieve, and what I can actually do. The outer results are the views and the likes we get on the video or the channel, and truly, it is truly out of my control. But yeah, if you enjoyed, do give a like on this video. It doesn't feed my soul, but it definitely helps the channel grow. Then the matrix are the uploads I do. I know it's just the second video, but I'm going to try to be consistent and planning to do one video every couple of weeks. And of course, then the inner results are the skills I'm improving as part of working on these videos. And to be honest, I already feel a lot more confident than my first video. So here's one thing from today. Start one task today. Set a timer. Don't let your brain trick you into anything easier. Do the hard work. And now, since you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Okay, bye. See you in a couple of weeks.